Jake, the ESPN has ranked the top NFL arsenal, so skill position guys, independent of the quarterbacks, and the Browns are ranked third behind the Rams and Chiefs. It's important to note, 2017, they were 30th. Last year, 13th. So again, that speaks to the upgrade of this roster, I think.
Yeah, you can't deny the job that John Dorsey's done now in his 2 years, taking this offense up to 13th his first year, his first offseason heading into 2018, and then jumping it all the way up to third here, which is crazy. They're surrounded by the Chiefs at second, which are obviously loaded at skill position players there. And then I think the Eagles are just behind them at 4 and the Vikings at 5. So they're among the NFL elite, right? They are obviously loaded at the wide receiver position with 4 guys that can really make plays. I just kind of call them the big 4. I think those 4 are going to find the field often as long as all of them stay healthy. You have a top 5 receiver in Odell-Beckham, a really predominantly effective slot receiver in Jarvis-Landry, and then 2 guys on the outside, one just a steady all-around presence in Higgins, and then a top take the lid off the defense, Callaway, as that role player, sort of that Deshaun Jackson type guy maybe in the future for them, and they have big plans for him. So you really love all 4 of those wide receivers, they especially what they were able to do with Baker-Mayfield without Odell Beckham. So you get those guys. Then you talk about a growing tight end in David-Njoku, just the other day turned 23, entering year 3, coming off a really nice second season, almost 700 yards. 4 touchdowns. He has big aspirations. I think he mentioned 20 touchdowns is his goal for this year. I'm not sure he's going to get there, but you got to respect the guy for trying to go out and get it. But yeah, then you talk about just those guys alone are impressive enough, and you mix in Demetrius Harris, who's a nice big secondary target, and Seth DeValve, who's shown, especially in his second year when he had nearly 400 yards receiving, that he can be a nice secondary tight end threat. Maybe sneak him into the backfield and play a little fullback with him. But then you talk running back, and you have 2 top 5 talents there, Nick-Chubb, in my opinion, and you have another guy in Kareem-Hunt will be there week 8, who's proven to be a really effective runner when he's been on the field as well. You know, Duke Johnson's future in the air, just as we were speaking to, but if he's counted as a part of this group, he's a really good pass-catching back out of the backfield, good change of pace. And, they go 3 deep, and some would consider 4 deep with Dontrell Hilliard, who in his short showings between weeks 9 and 17 had some catches, got out of the backfield and did a little bit of the stuff that Duke Johnson does. So it's an impressive group, and it's one of the best in the league. It's all about how the offensive line is going to play in front of them as far as how this group will perform in 2019. I just put up the AFC North offensive line position rankings. I have them third. That doesn't mean they can't finish even higher. They came in preseason 20th according to Pro Football Focus, but they finished last year, I think, number 2 in their rankings, and they finished weeks 9 through 17 with only 5 sacks allowed and very minimal pressure. Group is the core that everybody really believes in with this team, and I think it will be important for the Browns to get those skill guys in the right positions, run the football against light boxes, and make the most of what should be one of the NFL's best core of talent around a quarterback.
Well, the questions about the offensive line, I think, are valid. You lost Zeitler, really good player, but you needed to do that to get Odell Beckham and that whole trade with the Giants. So they're counting on some young guys to step up, but the one thing that you give him the benefit of the doubt, it's John Dorsey's been pretty good at identifying young talent in his time here, and really with the Chiefs as well.
Yeah, a lot of those guys there on the Chiefs roster, including Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, are a big benefactor of the work that John Dorsey did in bringing those guys in. Tyreek Hill is obviously the same. I don't know what his status will be for this year, but he's a name that's considered there too as a part of Dorsey. And most of the Browns core, Antonio Callaway, running through to Odell Beckham's arrival, Jarvis-Landry. John Dorsey did draft Baker-Mayfield, obviously. He brought in, he kept around Duke Johnson. That was one of his first signings upon taking his first offseason, kept Duke Johnson around, and he went out and signed Kareem-Hunt. It's John Dorsey's, child here. How it all pans out is going to be dependent upon whether this group of different types of personalities that he's brought in can sort of find cohesion under Freddie Kitchens, but there is no denying that the guy has an eye for young talent. And, he's proven that he has some flaws. I think all GMs have some flaws, even across the league's best franchises. There are flaws in identifying some things, but that doesn't mean he can't find talent. And at the end of the day in the NFL, you just need talent. Some of those other exterior factors, coaching, for example, can come and go. So you need the talent to make it all work. It's the old theory of you can have X's and O's, but you need the Jimmies and Joes. And I think the Browns, for the first time in a long time, have those guys that can make a difference regardless of scheme.
Well, the other thing that's impressive about the skill position guys we talked about, they're all guys that are still trending up. They really haven't hit the prime of their career. So in theory, this is a core that could be together for a couple of years and really do some special things.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the group and you include Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward and some of those defensive guys. They're going to have some tough decisions to make with financials, but everybody's young. I mean, Jarvis and Odell are sort of your older two there, and they're just hitting 26, 27 in the real prime of their NFL careers. The same can be said for some of those guys like Kareem-Hunt finding his stride now into year 3, and then you have the youngsters who are on rookie contracts, fortunately, like Nick-Chubb and Rashard Higgins on the last year of his sort of rookie deal there. But yeah, I mean, it's a good mixture of guys in their prime, guys in the young end of their rookie contract. So they have to find, I don't know, I'm not good with financials, so they got to find a balance and figure all that stuff out, because there are going to be some tough decisions. And I will say this, Browns fans are going to have to get used to, homegrown talent that has to leave because they don't have enough cap space to keep it all around. They need to make sure to try to find a way to keep those important players, but it's going to be an adjustment period. Maybe seeing somebody like Rashard Higgins walk to another team because they can't afford him. Just an example there. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it could happen. So it's going to be an adjustment. The good teams have to let talent walk occasionally because they draft really well, but you can't keep everybody in the NFL.
That is a great problem that Browns fans will love to have to deal with. Haven't had to deal with that for a while.